My name is Naddya Adhiambo Oluoch-Olunya, and I'm an animator and illustrator, and this evening I'm working as a caricature artist. So I've always loved drawing. I've been very fortunate to have been supported through my drawing and my craft since the very beginning, like since I was 3 years old. And I studied animation in Canada at Sheridan College, and in second year one of our modules was caricature. And I fell in love with it. Just the idea of looking at somebody and trying to distill a part of their personality into an image which is fun, that celebrates them, that really excites me. So it's not my main practice, but it's what I'm doing here tonight, and it's fun because I get to meet lots of new people, get to build my library of faces. So whenever I'm designing a character, I can always refer back to somebody I drew at a cocktail some night somewhere. The mix of people this evening there's a wide range of people of all shapes, sizes, colors, ages. So I've been having a lot of fun tonight. So whenever I start drawing somebody or whenever there's a new subject, I spend a lot of time listening to them first, and I try to get like a reading of who they are. Because ultimately, being a caricature artist, it's like a seismographic thing. Like you observe something, you allow it to imprint in your body, and you have to like have it reverberate onto the page. So there was a woman at the cocktail this evening, so beautiful, so striking, and so vibrant, and so magnetic. And I was watching how she held her head, like how she touched her hair, how she talked to the people around her. So I was imagining myself as like this woman. So the more I observed her movements, I tried to the more I observed, I tried to absorb something into myself and then translate it into the page. So I'm hoping that what I've drawn of her craft is a bit of her grace, a bit of her playfulness, the time she takes in her appearance, because she has beautiful golden hair, her lashes are not to be messed with, her brows are on fleek. People still say on fleek. Anyway, yeah, she's like really well put together. So I'm hoping that the image I've made of her shows that she's a well put together person. And she doesn't know that I did it, but I'm going to leave it on my stand. So hopefully, if she walks by it, she'll recognize herself. That's always the best feeling. If somebody recognizes what I've tried to capture about them.
As we take a break, I'd like to tell you about another podcast that I do. It's called Conversation with Daniel Duwa. Here's a sampler.
The catch is that you need to have your own self-care time where you just do things for yourself, nobody else, no social media, no speaking to other people like that. I think it's just like you have to find willpower within you to abstain from all these things.
And I'm a research engineer from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. We're working on developing chambers for post-harvest storage of fruits and vegetables.
For us, I don't think we're the dream partners at work, but I wouldn't do it with anyone else. Like people who actually do well with their partners would agree with me that it's so much fun to work with your spouse, because I think your struggles are totally understood because somebody understands what you're going through.
So the challenges of investing. There's a very interesting interplay here between the investors who are coming with money and with the government and the local community.
So the real person you need to be speaking to is the one over there.
Okay, you'll make an introduction.
I'll make an introduction to you.
Okay, cool.
Conversation with Daniel Duwa. Clearly, you're in good company. I hope you're enjoying this episode. Leave a comment, like, share, all that good stuff. Let's get Kenyan stories all over. And please, also, I'd like to hear your Kenyan stories, because we all have a story in us. Just because it hasn't been told doesn't mean it's not as beautiful, just as beautiful as you are. So reach out, let me know. So we come from the break. I'm talking to my guest tonight. My name is Daniel Duwa, you're on Kenyan Stories, and I'm back with my guest.
Granted, they're not many, but there's not many animators in Kenya really, as a whole. They're not. It's a small community of very gifted and dedicated people. Because they're there. I don't know why this myth persists. I'm going to be very deliberate about growing a community of women illustrators and animators, and like keeping us in contact with each other, because it's a myth that we also begin to believe that we're alone, just one woman, one pencil, one big world to, conquer. But the truth is that there's a beautiful like constellation where all of us are like shining individually with our own styles, our own stories that we want to tell. So there are women, and I'm one of them, and watch this space because we're making really exciting things. So my first job was with Shujaz FM. It's a multimedia Digital Emmy award-winning project and company, and I started there when I was 19 in 2009. And it started off as a go down. They just invited artists over. We did some character design tests, and I was fortunate enough to have been picked. So that was my first job. I was working with them when I was at school at Sheridan, and it got to a point where I couldn't continue my studies as well as work for Shujaz, so I had to discontinue for a bit. And then I started working with Zanaa Africa, designing Nia. So Nia, the Nia project is going on in Kilifi right now. It's an RCT funded by Gates, and they're testing the effectiveness of sexual and reproductive health education comics combined with pads to see how it increases girls' self-efficacy, performance, and how much of the knowledge that they can retain and how it affects like the quality of life. So that was a lot of fun. I was the supervising illustrator there for 5 years, and then I left in end of May of this year. I started my own company called ZanaAfrica with an animation studio, and the bread and butter is going to be stock illustration. So I'm trying to build my library of images so that whenever people need illustrations for their corporate needs, that there's a library that they can access for free. And that's kind of fuel my first love, which is animation and telling stories through moving drawings.
My name is Duwa. This is Kenyan Stories.